Big Rooster.
Good morning, everybody from Baltimore at all points. Welcome to the day after the big game. We lost the game. We were ripped off. It was a terribly, horribly, poorly played and poorly officiated football game. It was a disgrace to the NFL and equally to the Ravens. They're much better than that. Then they play. Okay, the phone number here is 410-921-9076. Call here if you want to get on the air and you want to discuss the Ravens' terrible game last year, part of a terrible season, may have been the end of this season. May have been the death blow, whatever you want to call it, to this very horribly played season. The team, total malaise, total probably injured, not playing as a unit, not playing with any energy or any purpose. Very, very poor. So let's go over some of the aspects of the football game. I got all my notes here. Now you can call here if you want at 410-921-9076, and we will put you on the air if you're out there watching. I guess nobody's watching today. Let's see. We'll show the comments. If you want to comment. The comments will be shown on the chat. All right. We're going to go over the football game. Now, here's what happened. It was a terrible game. Let's see. Getting all my damn notes in order. Total lack of preparation for this podcast, right? Yeah. First of all, let's go over the general NFL news, and then we'll get into our football game. The key headlines is 27-22 loss to the Steelers. Put a very bleak possibility for the Ravens to make the playoffs. It really took away the chance to make the playoffs, probably. They're more likely to lose out than they are to win out going forward. But we'll do other NFL news. The Chiefs are in peril. The Texans are rising. Houston beat Kansas City 20-10 last night. Texas rookie C.J. Stroud and the defense were quite good last night. The Packers took control of the NFC North. They defeated the Bears 28-21. Very big divisional game there. A late interception sealed the win for the Packers. They're in sole possession of first place. Now, big news in the AFC Central? Wow. The Colts lost quarterback Daniel Jones to a feared season-ending Achilles tendon injury. The Commanders also lost their tight end Zach Ertz. He certainly does. ACL tear, and quarterback Jaden Daniels re-injured his elbow in the loss to the Vikings. They lost 31-0. So the Steelers are in the first place in the AFC North. The Rams, Matthew Stafford straightened in his MVP case with a dominant win over the Cardinals. And the Bills came back to defeat the Bengals in a snowstorm to stay in the playoff hunt. Now, let us go to do more Ravens stuff. The Ravens, they lost 27-22. The punter was the star of the game. He is averaging 51 yards per punt this year, and that's outstanding. But let's talk about the key controversial calls. Isaiah Likely's touchdown catch was ruled a touchdown on the field. After the review, it was an incomplete pass. Instead of taking a 28-27 lead, the Ravens turned the ball over on downs. Another Aaron Rodgers interception. The ruling on the field was interception for the Ravens. The ruling after review was a completion for the Steelers. The impact was that the Steelers maintained possession instead of the Ravens taking over at the Pittsburgh 32-yard line. Travis Jones' penalty was a field goal attempt, unnecessary roughness, where the Steelers got a fresh set of downs. Okay, let's go over the overturned Isaiah Likely touchdown because that was the most important. With 3 minutes left, Isaiah Likely appeared to catch a 13-yard pass in the end zone, initially ruled a touchdown. Now, where I'm from, the call on the field to be overturned has to be very obvious. You see something that obviously causes you to overturn the call, and that was not the case. I didn't see. New York overturned the call, so someone from watching it from the league office called it an incomplete pass when the ball was dislodged by Joey Porter. According to the NFL Vice President of Instant Replay, Mark Butterworth, Likely had 2 feet down, but the ball was knocked out before he could perform a third step, which is considered an act common to the game necessary to complete the catch. The decision was heavily debated by players, coaches, and commentators, and everybody really understanding that it should have been a touchdown. And it was a touchdown. Come on. 2 feet down, you score. It's a touchdown. You don't have 3 feet. How are you going to get 3 feet down? You can't. All right, it was a significant loss for the Ravens in a very terrible, terrible season. Not just for the Ravens, but for the NFL in general. It's been a very horrible season. Just no great teams, very few great players, no great games really, memorable. Just a lot of moving between from 140 to the 40. Other teams 40, and it's nothing special going on this year. Let's see. The Ravens did score in their first drive, a field goal. Next 3 drives after that, only 2 first downs and no points. They failed to capitalize key opportunities in the fourth quarter after they were effed by those bad calls. Lamar described his frustration as through the roof. And the fans concur. And there's just a general lack, just a malaise or a lethargy to the team and to the fan base even. 6-7, 4 games left. kind of looks like the end of maybe everything, maybe of Harbaugh's time. Who knows? A full game behind the Steelers in the AFC. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers suddenly looked like Aaron Rodgers of 2012 after looking like very mediocre all season. So the morale of the team is just frustration. The health, they're getting better, but they're just not having consistency. They got ripped off. Let's see what's left. December. Okay, starting next week, they play at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 4-9. Then they play the Patriots. The Patriots are 11-2. Then they play the Packers. Um, and then they finish January 4th at Pittsburgh. Uh, in fact, they have one of the Ravens' remaining opponents have a combined win percentage that ranks among the most difficult left in the NFL. Remember, you can call. Phone number is 410-921-9076. You get on the air and we discuss the game. So let's just admit that the Ravens have almost no chance to make the playoff. Anything's possible. Lamar has not played great. Very inconsistent. Doesn't seem to be running. Like doesn't seem to want to run or have that threat of running. They have no great pass rush. The kicker, Tyler Loop, seems like he does pretty well most times, but he can't kick off, and it's strange that they don't let the punter kick off. Because he has a 51-yard punting average. Rashad Bateman has had some key drops this year. He keeps dropping the ball. They have no pass rush at all. So you can't rush quarterback. You're not going to have a good defense in the National Football League. That's the way it always has been, and that's the way it always will be. Now, so the Ravens 6-7. We went over their schedule left. Very lethargic, very strange season. Kind of a dead season. Maybe it'll be a big pivotal season as far as John Harbaugh. He may not be here next year. In fact, he probably will not be here next year. If I had to make a guess, I think this might be his last season, unless he really explodes under the Ravens. Look at stats real quick. Lamar was 19 out of 35, 219 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Derrick Henry had 25 carries for 94 yards. So, not spectacular. A far cry from last season. So, it might be a challenging December and January for our Ravens. All right, let's move on from that. We'll talk about the NFL, the rest of the NFL next time. But I want to get to some other stuff. And what I want to get to is this. This may sound ridiculous, but don't put it past MAGA messing with the NFL. You see, the main MAGA man hates the NFL because the NFL, unlike the American voters, had the sensibility of not letting him into become an owner in the league. That was a long time ago, but he doesn't give up grudges. And not only will Donald Trump try to do anything he can to the NFL, also because of a lot of how important, how uh, African Americans are in the NFL, how a great deal of the NFL players and fans and coaches now are African American. That's another reason why the Trumpster hates the NFL. So recently, a couple days back, Donald Trump received an award from the soccer league, FIFA, a peace, some kind of fake peace prize. So I read this in passing somewhere else, and I can't remember where, but somebody else threw out the idea that don't look past Donald Trump, Justice Department, will try to tell the NFL that they have to change their. They can't call themselves the National Football League, just like wrestling, pro wrestling, had to call themselves Entertainment. They had to change their title, and also they were in with the World Wildlife Fund. This is like 30 years ago. Wrestling changed from the WWF to the WWE, and I think that it's not an exact comparison. I think that Donald Trump will try to get the NFL to have to change themselves from calling themselves National Football League because soccer will put on the pressure because it's not their kind of football. I know this all sounds very strange and something that would never happen, but don't put it past MAGA because MAGA has these weird ideas to get their revenge. And of course, it'll work because they have everybody caves to them in the end. So that's a very unique idea, but I think one day in 10 years, the NFL will have to be calling themselves American Football League to show that they're just American football and not just football. I know I can't really explain it, but I just have an idea that that's what would happen. All right, now to move on to other political stuff. All right, the United States has been blowing up boats in the Caribbean, Pacific, calling these fishermen or fishing boats narco terrorists. They Trump and Hegseth say the strikes are necessary to combat violent drug cartels who pose a threat to national security. But the United States has not publicly given any evidence to support its claims about the cargo or the identity of those on board these boats. Some of the people killed were believed by their families and local sources to be innocent fishermen or poor down on their luck individuals, not high level narco terrorists. The strikes have been criticized by international law experts, human rights organizations, some lawmakers, not enough. Um, so tensions are high in Venezuela. The U.S. government has not provided any evidence to support any of its claims. The Trump administration has released grainy, unclassified video clips of vessels being struck, often posted on social media, but as a way of mocking the people or gloating about murdering these people. They say that they're going after the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which the State Department has designated a foreign terrorist organization. Trump said that the videos show fentanyl all over the ocean, but no cargo is visible in any of the released footage. So there's conflicting accounts on what has happened. There's no evidence given by the United States on what it's doing. These boats are typically small, fast smuggling vessels. Go fast boats, they're called. Now, the local reports and family accounts just say they're fishermen, laborers, motorcycle taxi drivers, poor immigrants, poor migrants or individuals. Okay, now the individuals on the boats are civilians or suspected criminals, not military targets or unlawful combatants in a formal war. Um, okay, so what has really been drawn to people's attention is that when they did a double tap, they call it, it's a second follow-up strike on several people who had survived a first attack and were in the water clinging to wreckage. And it's very clearly stated that it is a fundamental rule of the law of armed conflict with which the U.S. Manual on the Law of War upholds, that it is a war crime to target shipwrecked, incapacitated, or surrendering individuals who are no longer posing a threat. And there's no greater example of a shipwrecked person, people being shipwrecked than, and not posing a threat than people from the boat who are clinging to wreckage out in the ocean. So it's called double tap, and they go back, they hit the boat, and they went back and struck the people who were in the water clinging to wreckage. In other words, shipwrecked and incapacitated, which means they were breaking, as clear as literally as you can, international law, and were committing what would be in any other time war crimes, plain and simple. Now, it's kind of strange. I remember when Osama bin Laden was captured, there was argument over whether, when he was killed, in the raid, that it wasn't following international law. The United States was not following international law in that raid. That's how far we've come. When the SEAL Team 6 attacks a stronghold that has Osama bin Laden, and people were questioning the legality of it back then, and now blowing fishing boats out of the water, going back and killing people who are clinging to the boat, to wreckage. Of course, I know it's okay. So it's Trump, so it's okay. Everything's okay. Anything's okay. But you have to think about that. And you have to say, think what it means to be an American and what it is to follow rules of engagement that we agreed to, and whether it's okay to just ignore them because you want to prove your manhood, or you want to have an act of bravado, or you just want to mess with people, Latin Americans. It doesn't matter who they are, who cares, right? You're killing them. I think I read that only 10% of any fentanyl even comes to the United States from Venezuela. So the fentanyl thing is stupid. All right, we're going to look at a map here about where these attacks are taking place. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, here's the map. And I don't know how clear it looks on the screen here. But here's Venezuela, Grenada's here. This is like Aruba is over here. So here's on September 2nd attack. Over here is September 15th. Out here below Haiti and the Dominican Republic, September 19th. On October 3rd, right here in this area. All right, this is the Caribbean. This is Jamaica's here. Cuba's here. Mexico's here. United States here. The 6th attack was October 16th. The 7th is over here. I mean, so the 7th, 8th, and 9th attacks were not completely known. They're out here somewhere. Here's Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Mexico, and they were out here somewhere. And there are 2 locations unknown, that attacks that took October 17th and October 27th. Now, if this is okay to you, this is all okay, and move on. But if these attacks on these boats that we are, and without feeling compelled to present evidence of that they are narco terrorists, whatever that is, I don't even know what that is. That's all okay with you, then fair enough, as you were. But I don't know. I don't think that in the country that we want to have, that should be okay. So this stupid podcast that nobody listens to is saying something about it. I think I have some footage also that I can share from my YouTube source.
$50 to $50 by doing this. My friends laughed at me when I spent $49 on a power saver device that could cut my energy bill in half. They thought I got scammed. But when I showed them my super low energy bill, they were blown away.
So going a little bit deeper on those boat strikes, let's go live to Colombia and CBS News national correspondent Lily.
All right.
Luciano. Lilia, I'm curious about the people there in Colombia. Are they buying the White House characterizations?
This is from a couple weeks back.
About that September strike.
Talking about the double tap strike.
Look, Reed, of course, cocaine has been trafficked out of Colombia
Colombian. Okay, here we go.
Up the boats, as has been done for decades, arrest those people.
This is September
And what the
2nd.
fishermen told me is, yeah, keep them in prison for life if they're found guilty. But why are they striking, killing people, and
This says they were Colombian.
not telling us who they are,
maybe I'm getting
showing us evidence of the drugs?
Here's the boat.
And there's real concern
And
in fishing areas of Colombia like Santa Marta, where Alejandro Carranza, this one person I was telling you about, was killed, where they say, look, sometimes we do go into open waters. We do go into international waters, for instance, to fish snapper. What if one of our motors fails and we end up stranded? Are we going to cross a red line and be killed by the...
Now the Trump people are saying that Keg's breath, as some people call him, didn't really give the order. Now they're trying to say so that he ultimately doesn't have to pay for this. Somebody else gave the orders for this. So, yeah, they'll get away with this. Anyway, that's all the sad news we have for the day. But before leaving, let's go check the NFL playoff standing right now. Let's check it out. The playoff picture. Yeah, baby. That's right. Let's see what we got going on here. We got the AFC. The Broncos 11-2. They're 1. Patriots second, 11-2. Jaguars are the third seed. Steelers are fourth. Bills fifth. Chargers sixth. Texans seventh. The Colts, Ravens, Chiefs, and Dolphins are all on the bubble. But I don't know. It looks like it's going to be hard to break into that top 7 just by the math. The NFC has Rams, Packers, Eagles, Buccaneers, Seahawks, 49ers, and Bears. The Lions and Panthers and Cowboys, all teams on the bubble. All right. We'll follow up with our bigger football show. Just wanted to get these things out today, get this podcast out. And we will say thank you for everybody who commented. And thank you for nobody could call. Not one damn Ravens fan could call and make some points about the damn Ravens. Steelers week. Steelers week ain't what it used to be, eh? All right. It's been a miserable season. But we'll do another football show later. But we will say good night good day to everybody. Good morning. And F MAGA. That's our slogan. And go Ravens. Go Baltimore. If you're outside, get inside. It's cold out there. And we will talk to you all next time on Late Night Baltimore. And we hope to have Fez will give us some of his football insights in the discussion. Okay, everybody. Good day to y'all.